What is up, guys? I am Jake37 here once again with a brand new video. Here today I have a very special video that I was going to make yesterday, but I was not able to because I have been busy with some things. But I am currently sitting on the floor of Norwegian Star, which is a cruise ship. It is day 4. It's officially the very last day of the cruise, and I'm extremely upset about it. Yesterday, we spent the day in Cozumel, Mexico. Mexico is one of my favorite places. I want to explore as much of it as humanly possible. We went to Cozumel back in January, but we only explored one side of it. Yesterday, we kind of explored two sides of it. I'm not going to lie, Cozumel, Mexico is my favorite holiday destination as of today, but obviously that's going to change because I plan to travel all over the world. There are so many places I want to visit. As it stands, Cozumel, Mexico is by far my favorite holiday destination, but I'm also planning to adventure more of Mexico. I want to go to mainland Mexico and actually explore more of the states, but who knows when that's going to be because, you know, with my moving situation, my job, and all that good stuff, it takes time and it requires a lot of planning. So anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. As it stands today, of all the places I have traveled to, Cozumel, Mexico is my favorite destination. I've loved everything about it. So yesterday, we went to a place called Kuza as part of an excursion. Kuza is basically a huge resort area. It includes a beach, it includes a buffet, it includes a water park. It has a lot of different stuff with it. Kuza is actually a relatively new place. I believe it's actually the newest thing in Cozumel as of today. Like, I believe this was built months ago, but I could be wrong about it. Either way, though, it's a very new area. We went to the water park and we spent a good bit of time there. I'm not going to lie, I think it's great for what it is. If I did water parks, I would probably love it, but I do not wear shorts or swim shorts for modesty purposes, and I currently do not have any type of swim pants to wear at the moment. Basically, I had nothing to do other than walk around and explore the place. So the water park was really not my thing because I couldn't get in the water. It was nice for what it was. I think almost anybody would love it, to be honest. If you were to bring your kids there, they would have an unforgettable experience. So then what happened was we went to another part of Kuza, which was the beach. We did not get anywhere near enough time to really enjoy Kuza, to be honest. In fact, I'm relatively pissed about it because when we went to Cozumel back in January, we got to spend a whole lot of time to do whatever we wanted. In fact, I believe the cruise left at like 6 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. We had to be back on the cruise at 4:30 this time, which is a very low amount of time compared to what we had before. On top of that, our excursion did not begin until like 11. We only had a few hours to actually enjoy Kuza. Before we went to Kuza, we explored the shops and we explored that section of Cozumel. Then when we went to Kuza, we spent literally almost all of our time at the water park. Then when we left to go to the beach, we had literally like 20 minutes left. So basically we had no time to enjoy the beach properly. Mom continued to hype up this buffet at this place. She was like, oh, they have fajitas, they have this, they have that. It is an incredible buffet. You're going to love it. This is from what she heard online. She had never actually been to it, but we got there and it was quite disappointing, to be honest. I did not trust the food. This is something a lot of you may not know, but in Mexico, most traditional Mexican dishes are served in pork fat. If you go to almost any restaurant within Mexico, they cook with pork fat, not vegetable oil or anything like that. They cook with pork fat. That is very normal. I see rice, I see beans, I see all these different options, and I keep thinking to myself, what do they cook this in? None of the workers really gave me an answer, so I could not trust what they had to say, and I saw pork products on the buffet table, so that made me a lot more skeptical, and I was like, nope, not gonna do it. I walked back over to the table with no plate, and my mom was like, are you serious? Then she tried the food herself because, you know, we went there, we might as well get some food there. She tried it, and like one of the first things she said was, this food sucks. So we walk over to the actual beach area, which is like maybe 30 feet away. I don't even put my feet in the water because I'm like, we have 10 minutes left before we have to get on the bus. I am not about to take my shoes and socks off and put my feet in the water, throw them back on, and then get on the bus. Like, that's a huge waste of time. I did not get to enjoy the beach of Kuza, which I am extremely disappointed about. Us going to the Kuza beach was undeniably the worst decision we made on this entire trip. We had no reason to go there. The food was not very good, and we did not even get to enjoy the beach. But the Kuza water park, I enjoyed my time there, even though I did not get in the water. But this is where things get funny. We walk over to the tram area. The tram was going to ride for less than 3 minutes to get us to the bus station so we could get on the bus and go back to the cruise port. Again, 5 minutes to get to the bus. Otherwise, the bus was going to leave without us. Here we are getting ready. We're in this line. There's people screaming and insulting each other. Then they finally called on all of us to get on the tram. Some little kid jumps in front of us, basically takes our spot. He jumped in the seat and then his parents followed afterwards. That particular seat, which was supposed to fit 3 people, was 100% meant for us, but that kid jumped in front of us and they got it instead, so we had to wait on the next one. In a nail-biting competition, the tram actually arrived on time and we all boarded it. We got the front seats, took that small tram all the way over to the bus area. We all boarded the bus and my mom was like, "Yay, we all got on the bus." And I was like, "I'm about to vomit." And she was like, "Oh no, don't say that." And I'm like, "I'm not kidding, I'm about to vomit and shit my pants." She's like, "Can it wait until we get to the cruise port?" And I'm like, no. I tell her, "I'm just gonna meet you at the cruise port." So then I jump off of the bus, I run back into the Kuza water park, and I go to the bathroom. Spent maybe 20 minutes in the bathroom, and I finally left. I came back to the bus area. My bus was gone. I was like, now I just need to get a taxi. I walked up to some guy and I was like, "Hey, how on earth do I get a taxi? Because my phone carrier does not work in Mexico." He said he was a taxi driver. So I was like, okay, cool. I asked him how much for it and he said $35, which is actually pretty low. Gave him 40 and we took off from there. We started going and I honestly was so fucking nervous about how this was going to end. We were so close to the deadline of our cruise leaving. Again, the cruise takes off at 4:30. It was roughly, I want to say 2:45 when we left Kuza. The bus left at like 4:30. The time I boarded my taxi was like 3 something, meaning that it was basically right on the edge. The guy is driving, he's talking to me about how great Cozumel is, he's talking about all these locations. All I can think to myself is, we have to get to the fucking port or this is going to end really badly. The guy was really great, he was like a really nice person. I got some of him on my video, but obviously recording was not exactly my priority at the moment. He keeps driving and my mind is racing. I'm like, are we going to get back? Because I'm not familiar with this part of Cozumel. I do not remember seeing this part of Cozumel. There's no way we are that close to it. And he said that he went a different route to avoid the traffic. So I was like, okay. I want you all to think about what would have happened if I had been stuck in Mexico. I want all of you to really thoroughly think about this, because this is not a situation I could have easily got out of. For one, I do not have a passport at the moment. You can board cruises without a passport. All you need is a birth certificate and your driver's license. However, to board a plane literally anywhere, you have to have a passport. That basically means that I would have had to get in contact with an embassy and go through a whole process just to even be able to fly out of the country. 2, my bank does not operate outside of the United States. That is why I have cash on me, because if I tried to pay anything with my debit card, it would automatically decline it because my card does not work outside of the United States. Basically, that means that once I ran out of dollars, I would be completely out, and I do not have, obviously, a work visa to do anything within Mexico to earn money or pay for anything. Number 3, my phone does not work outside of the United States because of my plan. If I were to have been stranded in Mexico, it would have been borderline impossible to get a hold of literally anybody. I can't text people, I can't call people, I cannot do literally anything on the phone when I am out of the United States. But all 3 of those together, and you have one of the worst situations possible. And another thing that's worth noting, I could not get in contact with my mom either because her phone had died. Basically what this means is, if I had not made it back to the port, I would have had a very difficult time getting out of the country because of no passport and because my car does not work outside of the United States. Yeah, pretty horrific situation. It was extremely slow getting back to the cruise port. I was extremely nervous. Again, so many bad things could have happened if I did not make it back on time. I made it back. My mom and my brother, obviously they didn't know where I was because they couldn't get in contact with me. She had no idea if I even made it back onto the cruise. In fact, she even told my dad Jacob might be living in Mexico now because we cannot get a hold of him, we cannot find him, and we do not know if he made it back onto the ship. But I laid in the bed over there. That bed you see is where I've been sleeping, on the bottom, and eventually they both came back in. The entire crisis was averted. Again, out of all the places I have traveled to so far, Cozumel, Mexico has been my favorite. I want to explore more of the inner city areas, like outside of the tourist area, because I feel like there's a lot to see that I have not been able to look at yet. I also want to explore mainland Mexico, as I've said before, because there are so many great places within Mexico that obviously none of us had ever seen yet. But out of all the events that could have happened in Cozumel yesterday, I was not expecting to be almost completely trapped in Mexico either. I do not know how I do it, but I always end up in crazy situations. But this almost became the worst one because who knows what would have happened if I did not make it back to the portal time. But yeah, this is my last day on Norwegian Star, and I almost got trapped in Mexico with no phone service, no working bank account, and without a passport. That would have been really bad, and I feel like some of you do not fully understand the severity of that situation because I was very close to living in it. It's definitely a story that I will be telling people from now on. I mean, I love Cozumel, but if I'm going to live in Cozumel, I would want to have a working phone, a working bank account, and I would want to have a passport and a work visa. Anyway, yeah, I feel like this video is going on for too long. But yeah, yesterday I almost got trapped in Mexico. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. Have a great night. Hope you all enjoyed the video.